Brewers Log April 5th, 2025. So tonight I finally got around to actually getting some cider going again. So there's 6 gallons here on the bench that are ready to go. First one at this end is just a straight brown sugar. We're using SO4 yeast, a half a teaspoon of yeast nutrient, a half a teaspoon of pectin enzyme, and about probably 3/4 of a teaspoon of SO4 yeast is what I ended up putting into there. Second one here is brown sugar ginger. Same things that are put into it, but this one, instead of just having a cup of or a cup to a pound of brown sugar put into it, it also had a half a cup of ginger put into it. Third one here is just Stevenson honey added to it, following my normal recipe of taking out 2 cups, taking 1 cup, heating it up, and putting in a cup of honey, and then pouring it back in, and then topping it back off. Third one here is Stevenson honey. It also has the half cup of ginger in it, which is just this ginger or juice that I have here. Third one is also Stevenson honey with a half cup of ginger in it, same as what was before. And the third one here is Stevenson honey with a half cup of ginger, but this one is actually a couple different Lewisburg ciders put into it. So it is both are old fashioned, and I believe the honey something is the other one that's put into it. But I had a mixture of different leftover ciders that were sitting around, so that's what we got put into here. You can see the different original gravities are 1076, 1078, 1074, 1070, 1078, and 1080. So they're all very similar. I had the one with just the Stevenson honey and no ginger. It had the lowest starting gravity, but I've usually found that just the straight honey versus the brown sugar was always a little lower on starting gravity. And as I said before, the SO4 yeast that is in all of these, just to make them very similar and to get something going again. So we'll see where they go. I'm a little worried that I've filled a couple of them way too full. As you can see, most of them are definitely towards the top. So we'll see how many of them blow off and have a mess tomorrow, or how many of them just work just fine. So we'll see from there. All right, that was what I was able to get done tonight. Good night. For the brown sugar cider, it looks like we are starting out at just about perfect, a 1080 or a 1.080. So that's about where I expect it to be. And we'll see what the rest of them are. All right, for the brown sugar ginger, it looks like we're just below 1080. So I'm probably calling this a 1078, maybe a 1079. I'm not able to get a clear picture on this, so I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but it's just below a 1080 is what I think it is. So we'll use that and go from there. All right, so for our Stevenson honey, a cider, it looks like we're coming out at almost a perfect 1070. So it looks like that's going to start out as 1.070. So that's what I'll put on the bottle. All right, for the first Stevenson honey ginger, it looks like we're coming out at a 10 and 7.4 is at least where I'm putting it at, because it's just barely off, or it's below the first line, almost to the second line. So I'm going 10.74 with this one. All right, for the second Stevenson honey ginger that is in the Lewisburg bottle, it's almost 1080. I'm going to call it actually a 1078, because it's not quite a 1080. So 1078 is what this one will be. All right, so for my jug of mixed ciders, there are different Lewisburg ciders. It's all Lewisburg. I'm putting this at a 1076, because it's definitely 2 lines below a 1080, so I'm putting this at 1076.